Good morning, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another stream with Death and Taxes. This time, not with the Legacy equivalent, though. This time we are rocking Modern D&T. This is something that people have been asking me to do for a very long time. I'm one of the Legacy D&T experts, and every once in a while I kind of stumble into other formats to see if Thalia and friends are good there. For the past maybe month or so, people have been asking me to give this deck a try. So it's been having a decent amount of success, and Skyclave Apparition is supposedly one of the most played cards in Modern right now. So let's see how good this card feels in Modern. It has felt absolutely great in Legacy. I'm playing the full play set there. I recommend most other people do as well. So I imagine it will feel just as good, if not better, here. The core of this deck is very similar to what you see in Legacy, but you downshift the power level a little bit. Mother of Runes becomes Giver of Runes, Swords to Plowshares becomes Path to Exile, Wasteland becomes Ghost Quarter, and Field of Ruin. You don't get the super broken Umezawa's Jitte, and something that has been seeing play in these lists recently is Maul of the Skyclaves, which I'm going to admit I'm a little bit skeptical about. When it ETBs, you get to just attach it to a creature. That's cool, and that creature gets +2/+2 and flying, and first strike. But the equip cost on this is 4. The equip cost of 2 for sort of Fire and Ice sometimes feels a little rough in terms of like mana and tempo, especially when there's so much removal floating around the format. So I imagine re-equipping this is just like your entire turn the vast majority of the time. Um, I'm not going to just like totally rip on it before I try it out though, because it appears to be in basically all of the lists. Otherwise, we have some cards that see play in Vintage, like Archon of Ameria in the main deck of this deck. And Leonin Arbiter is sort of a supplemental hate bear to make up for the fact that some of your other options aren't necessarily great. And Arbiter has synergy with Field of Ruin, Ghost Quarter, and Path to Exile. The sideboard is full of things that you've probably played in this deck if you have played Modern D&T at all in the past. Brenton Forge Tender for the red matchups, Land and Relic Warder for all of the artifact matchups, Rest in Peace for graveyard stuff. Maybe one of the only things you're not overly familiar with is Winds of Abandon, which I've played in Legacy a decent amount. It exiles a target creature you control, and then you do the whole Path to Exile thing. But you can overload this for 6 mana to get rid of all of your opponent's creatures. And that can be really strong. I think that's all I have to say in terms of a deck tech, so let's just kind of hop into some matches and see how things go today. Modern Hate Bears. Oh, no. We're not ready for a modern challenge. We want a modern league. I am indeed that same sexy man who is on YouTube. Been doing a little bit of work on the YouTube stuff recently. So, for example, my videos are now actually going to have like thumbnails that distinguish them from each other rather than just one generic thumbnail. I spent a little bit of time yesterday learning some like super basics of photo editing so that I could do some of that sort of stuff. So for people who are browsing on mobile in particular, things should get a little bit better. Although I guess all of you who find this on YouTube later will actually just figure that out on your own. Deck is starting out strong. Yikes. This is a very bad 5-card hand. How am I winning this game with 5 of these cards? It could just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hope that I can like Micro Wisp attack into Maul of the Skyclaves attack sort of thing. Yikes, this is bad. Like in a vacuum, Aether Vial is the sort of card that you always want to start with in play, but I don't know when I'm going down 2 cards that keeping the Vial makes sense. Ugh. Morning, Jerry. Hope all is well. We started this one off on a Mulda 5, so we're probably just losing this game 1 to whatever control deck my opponent is playing. I'm going to go ahead and play the counterable card here. Good morning. And by that, what I mean is this effect is replaceable since I have a second one in my hand. So if this gets mana leaked or something, I'm not going to miss this effect, where there are worlds later where I miss this. Okay. So I'll get that later. Not had a delay cast against me in a very long time. Couldn't always yield to that. Um, and just cast this into the Archon. You can't do it the other way around, so. Snapcaster delay. Well, we have creatures coming. That's the good news. Oh, shit. Okay, delay makes sense now. Hmm. Guess I just play a Flicker Wisp this turn, and then try to go for a Maul of the Skyclaves base thing next turn. Like, I can Maul the Skyclaves this turn, but if my opponent has Path to Exile, I just, like, lose the game on the spot, and I'm already in a very bad position. Let's reset the loyalty down 1 on this. Morning's starting off well. Like, I'm off work, start of my break. We've only gotten to 5 this match, though, so I don't expect to win game 1. We'll see, though. Anything can happen. The Archon's very good in Vintage. You get to power it out quicker there. Yeah, without knowing the exact content of my opponent's deck, I would imagine that they are favored in this matchup. The deck that can play Wrath of God effects tends to be good against the deck that is trying to go wide with a bunch of creatures. Bye, friend. Okay. So, a counterspell or settle the wreckage would be pretty annoying for me. I don't know that I get much say in playing around that. I don't know that it really makes sense to try to Path to Exile this Snapcaster Mage as a bait spell. And I'm not playing around like a mana leak here. The whole reason I reset the Teferi Loyalty last turn was to try to get in there this turn. Okay. So you're telling me there's a chance. That's a kick in the pants. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pack it in here for the sake of my sanity. I'm not dead this game, but like I have nothing. My opponent has a very good Planeswalker, and I started on a mold of 5. I don't think I'm getting out of that. Let's figure out if anything in the sideboard looks good. Not particularly. Provokers will probably come in for Planeswalkers. No, no. No, 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 no. Like, this could replace another creature if something's bad. But we don't have anything big in the sideboard, like, say, Gideon, that is traditionally boarded for these sorts of matchups. My paths aren't insane. I might want to keep some as an answer to Colonnade. But I have Field of Ruin and Ghost Quarter for that purpose. A lot of my stuff has flying or first strike, so it doesn't get walled by Snapcaster. Yeah, I might be doing a 4 for 4 here. This is an okay adjustment. Like, I don't really love Maul of the Skyclaves either, like something that costs 4 to equip against a control deck that will be running 1 CMC removal just doesn't feel like the place that I want to be. But it's like keeping a Path to Exile over that, so keep. And becomes insane if I rip a land, and if I don't, it's still good unless I get hit with something like a Stony Silence. I'm just like snap conceding to a Stony Silence. Well, I'm glad to hear that Stony Silence is less common, because I sure as hell am not beating it here. Do a quick check. Okay, opponent does not have anything. I'm not gonna do anything on my turn. I don't want them to be able to path to exile one of my creatures, for example. I'm not even sure that I'm supposed to do anything on their upkeep. I'm going to go ahead and put in the Thalia here. This makes their life more awkward in terms of potentially double spelling. Yeah, let's go ahead and put one at 3 and one at 2. Is enter untapped? Yes, I can play this pre-combat. Jupe, thank you very much for throwing your support this way. I do appreciate it. I can just Flicker Wisp this out of the way so I don't lose Thalia. And play 2 creatures of my own. I think I like that. I don't really want to lose Thalia here. Yeah, I finally remembered to, like, automate my donation goal. Or my subscriber goal. So next time we hit 10 total subs, I'm gonna play something fun for the stream. I haven't decided what it is yet. But we'll do something really cool and janky. Tapping Taz, thank you very much for following as well. Really wanted my opponent to have a fetch so that I got to get them. Alright, so my opponent gets better Swords to Plowshares here. I can't search due to my own Arbiter. Womp womp. This Arbiter can't attack anyway, so I think I'm just going to leave my Violet 2 here and like play around a Verdict a little bit better. Go always no to both of these for now, and I can change my mind later. This is that's an awkward draw. That means I will be considerably worse versus a Wrath effect. If I just, like, nuke this thing here. But I might just have to push damage. I'm basically not ever planning to cast this Batterskull this game. So let's draw a card and see how I feel after looking at everything else. Okay, that has just replaced itself. Alright. I think the aggro plan is the path to victory. I don't know that I'm going to beat a sweeper anyway. That's a lot of selection. That's the 4th opt. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And my Arbiter doesn't get to attack again. Do I just put it in, though? I'm probably supposed to put it in. That's not quite going to work the way you want it to. Yes, they can pay the 2, but they can't pay the 4. I just clicked through combat. Cool. Strong start to the morning. Fine and Andy, thank you very much for the continued support. I'm going to leave that one at 2, I think. Am I drawing a card? I think I'm playing Vile no matter what, but I don't like super care about my lands at this stage of the game. Yeah. That's good. So we're going to want to turn off my auto yield so I can adjust that to 3 in my upkeep. Okay. That's very good. I'm like very much missing the 3 damage that I just clicked through. It's just 1 turn of clock. We'll always no to that one. Then we'll go yes to this one. Yeah, so we just have my opponent dead here if I made the, like, obviously good attack. I didn't get punished for it, but, like, that was on me. Didn't see anything that makes me want to change my game plan, so we'll just continue as is. This is a pretty good 1-2-3 curve. Guess I don't really have a reason to hide the Ghost Quarter, and those sitting in play can be quite good. Doing well, Jay. Spell Snare. Okay. Giver doesn't protect itself, so we'll just bash on in. Do I just want to answer the Teferi while my opponent is tapped out? I really don't want to get this Skyclave delayed or something. Yes. I'm not happy about this. Like, I haven't given my opponent a good Path to Exile opportunity yet, so this doesn't necessarily just get everything I needed to. My opponent has plussed out of the Maul range. The Maul is +2/+2, so it doesn't kill Jace this turn. I think I want to save the Maul as a surprise and try to kill the Jace next turn. The issue is that, like, if I play Maul, my opponent Jace bounces, they have a 3/3. Yeah, I think some combination of like Giver plus Aven Mind Sensor or Vial or something is going to be better in this turn cycle. There's an argument to cast the Mind Sensor in my main phase so that it can't get countered. The Fairy card is fun, right? Well, the answer is they can bounce both of them if they want. Bouncing the Skyclave is weird. It gives them some value, but means that I can answer whichever Planeswalker I think is scarier later. I also don't like my opponent's sequencing here. If you don't know what you do, but you know you're going to Jace Brainstorm, you should probably Jace Brainstorm first. You work with more information that way. I would like to attempt to answer the Jace this turn by playing them all. But if I do that, I can't try to Mize my opponent off Aven Mind Sensor. Yeah, maybe let's not. Let's go ahead and try to finish off the Teferi. And let's see if that works. It doesn't. I can't play at instant speed. And main phasing this Mind Sensor really sucks. It still feels like the line. Yeah, that's a good point. If they draw with the Teferi first, it does put them into a better position in terms of like, eh. So I guess I now want to play Giver. Try to prevent future Mystic Sanctuary Cryptic command loops. Actually, is that better than taking them off of double white? It might not be. Double white might beat me. Did not shut them off of double white. Uh, okay, I'm facing down 3 planeswalkers. I'm pretty close to the point where I'm just going to concede. My opponent's still at 16. They have the larger creature on board. I mistimed this. I shouldn't have done this until after they selected which lands they were going to untap, but I'm pretty sure 100% of the time they untap those two. But if we're talking about like technical tight sequencing, that helps a lot. All right. Can you resolve for me? Can you resolve for me? That would be so cool if you could resolve. Okay, it's resolving. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card here and help inform which planeswalker I should be attacking. Oh, that's actually very good. All right, maybe we're not out of this one yet. Let's finish off Jace. That's the like biggest card advantage engine here. And then we'll revoke this Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's all sorts of bad. Actually, don't need to set that. How patiently to play this. If I hard call my opponent not having a removal spell, I just like play Stoneforge, get sword, equip sword. But I think that line opens me up to one too many things that I don't like. This is a really weird spot. This is the sort of spot where if I had more time on my clock, I would sit here and think for a couple of minutes, but I just don't. That sucks. Sucks a lot. These bounce effects are also just brutal against most of the stuff that I can do. I either need a Skyclave Giver or Teferi. It might just be Giver. I don't want to just die to beat down. I'm going to cast the good old main phase Aven Mind Sensor. The fact that I have to like worry about instant speed Supreme Verdict here is pretty rough. And it feels like that's what's going to happen. I don't think I get to play around that. Oh, okay. This is very good timing for me. Now I get an illusion. Plus, I had another creature. I think my opponent messed up on their timing. I have a window back into this game now. You ultimate at 8. I really need to pressure that. Oh, that's good. Okay. So let's go. Equip that. All right, they're returning their Mystic Sanctuary and tapping my creatures. Okay. This is bad. So now they can play their land and put Supreme Verdict or Cryptic Command on top of their deck. Hopefully they can't draw it. If I flicker the Sanctuary, I fizzle the tap, then I can attack in and kill a Planeswalker. But then that just puts the Supreme Verdict right on top of the library. Yeah, I didn't have time to think that through. Like, it occurred to me, but I don't know what I'm doing in this format in terms of like specific lines that I should be taking and playing around. I'm kind of figuring out things as I go along. I don't have a lot of those heuristics to guide me that I normally do for legacy play. Three. All right. So Germ kills that. Stoneforge kills that. Flicker Wisp goes at them. This I am also going to send at Small Teferi, just in case my opponent has a naked Snapcaster. No, I think I'm going to get Verdicted and then have to like rely on Batterskull bounce shenanigans. Oh, actually, I don't want to do that because my opponent is going to Verdict. Yeah, no block. You can Verdict, and then I can equip Batterskull to the Illusion token to have a real clock. I'm not going to play the Ether Vial. I'm low enough on clock that I don't want to be clicking through those steps. Ugh. At least that goes to 1 and theoretically kill it. Okay, now they have the Mystic Sanctuary Cryptic command lock, and I'm just soft to that. Just counter my spell, bounce, Mystic Sanctuary. Or alternatively, tap. My team plus bounce Mystic Sanctuary. Okay, yeah, I'm dead to that. I will admit defeat. Apologies to opponent for playing so slowly. Alright, I made some mistakes there. I could have definitely played that tighter. I'm going to go ahead and run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. So thinking about that match in some general terms here, I think my opponent's deck was well suited to beat mine, and I also don't think that I brought good sideboard options to the table. So there's that. Esemic 2000, thank you very much for following. As well as Dark Abra, I missed you during the game, my bad. Hope you all are enjoying the content here. I thought I had configured those chat messages separately. I was trying to set up a separate set of arena settings for chat, but I guess those messages are linked. Sorry, I guess those things are linked in settings. Yeah, I'll keep this. Unfortunately, I think our white mana is very important in these like Delver style matchups, and not having access to it early is probably going to be rough. Okay, this is a great pickup. Actually really interesting when I time this. So I could time this now, try and play around a counter spell, but I don't think that's correct. I think I try to wait that one out. I am not impressed by Maul of the Skyclave as a card. Like, it can prove itself, but, like, playing an equipment with equip cost 4 seems questionable to me. Like, just in any format, even, like, in Limited or something. Now my opponent does not have any mana available, and they've already committed some resources and cards towards powering up Sprite Dragon, so I think I'm just going to take this opportunity to go ahead and nail that. Yeah, but, like, reattach makes it sound like an aura, and auras are bad. Flickering it to reattach is cool. I'm just super skeptical about that card until it proves itself. But I'm seeing it in all of these modern lists, so there's probably something to it. My opponent presumably has another basic land. I want to activate a Field of Ruin in this turn cycle so that I can get white and play a Flicker Wisp next turn and then cast another. I guess I don't need to do that immediately. I'm just going to go ahead and hold up my mana and see what my opponent does. Yes, I could have gotten saucy and attacked there, but I'm not representing a good blocker off the vial if I make that attack. Opponent just goes for it anyway. Yeah, no block. I'm going to go ahead and tap the Ether Vial here to represent a Thalia. No bite from the opponent. Hello, Thalia. You're just like the tiniest bit late for what I wanted you to do, but okay. Oh, good. You're not hearing what I'm hearing right now. Oh, maybe you are a little bit. So I can go 2, activate a Field of Ruin, blow that up, get another Plains, use the Plains to cast Thalia, hold up Flicker Wisp. It might just be better to keep this around, though, in case I do draw an Arbiter later. Yeah, let's not thin my deck of a land either. That might have been a good opportunity for my opponent to cast Manamorphose, just by the way. Now they can't cast it for their open mana. Maybe they want to on their turn for prowess reasons, but it kind of seems like they're going to be mana tight. Now my opponent can represent a whole lot of damage this turn. Am I at the point where I block if my opponent attacks in with these creatures before playing another spell? I don't think so. The Flicker Wisp is going to save 3 damage next turn instead. I think I'd go ahead and take this. Seems like they have another spell based on this pause as well. Ugh. My own Thalia keeps me from casting Batterskull here, which is a pretty big deal. Field of Ruin, destroy Steam Vents. Another untapped land, play Flicker Wisp. Something like that is probably my line. I don't know if my opponent plays a basic island. This is good for me if they don't. I assume there's a basic island in there. Oh, ho ho. Attack with Wisp. Then Wisp my Wisp, then Wisp one of their creatures. Seems good. There's also a world where I Wisp my Ghost Quarter and just Ghost Quarter them. Is that a better world? Leave them on 2, they can only cast 1 spell. No, I think I need to Wisp the Wisp. I don't think I want to whisk this because I get to scry when it re-enters, and that's probably bad for me. Good news is that I've probably stranded this Brazen Borrower in exile for the rest of the game. I mean, no attack is great for me. That is an insane draw. That means if I just hold down the fort for a turn or two, I can have a Batterskull followed by a Sword of Fire and Ice. Or I can get the Maul of the Skyclaves. What do you mean, do I have lethal now? God, I don't have mana for that. That would cost 6 mana, Thalia attacks. I think I'm going to pick up the Maul in order to make a very large Batterskull, but I'm not 100% sure about that. The next turn I put in Batterskull, and if I draw a land, I can also equip Maul to it, which is good. But that might not be better than just equipping Sword of Fire and Ice in the next turn cycle. The reason to not Ghost Quarter is that if Stoneforge Mystic dies and I draw a land, I can still hardcast Sword of Fire and Ice and equip it. Another reason to not Ghost Quarter is because if my Thalia dies, I can just hardcast the Batterskull if something also happens to Stoneforge. I think I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn. If they fetch a Steam Vents tapped, I will probably Ghost Quarter that. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and wait here. Alright, great. That was a relatively long game one. Alright, Forge Tenders, get in here. Your protection from red. That's very good. Same for Auriok Champion. And we might be looking at wins as well. What's not good? Agglaive Apparition is probably medium. My opponent has a bunch of removal spells, and they can attack me with a 1/1 illusion token pretty, happily. But I don't know that they're bad enough to cut. I'm actually legitimately unsure what I should be cutting here. I think I like going down a piece of equipment. Some amount of my end game and probably go. Morning, Nathan. Arbiter too slow. Arbiter could be slow. Like Flicker Wisp, by a similar logic, is also slow. But like Flicker Wisp fogging combat is still good. It's still a flying body to hold stuff. Archon is really good in this matchup. Maybe I should be trimming Flicker Wisps instead. I could also like not play Winds. Maybe Winds on the draw is not good. Eh? I don't know, like, maybe I should be trimming an Apparition and leave a couple extra flyers in the deck. Arglypuff, careful what you say in chat. People might think that works. Ooh, I love this hand. We're playing against a blue-red prowess deck. We got game one and look to have a very good setup for game two. This is also a good draw when I have the Arbiter. I'm going to take a 2-turn line here. I'm going to play my cat this turn. The reason is because I can play Path and Thalia next turn if I sequence this way, but if I play Thalia first, I can't Path and Arbiter in the same turn cycle. Hello, Swarms. Swarm? Hope you are having a great day. I love when I get to do these streams in time frames that I usually don't, so people from other parts of the world get to actually catch me live. Yeah, funny you would say exactly that. Yes, I'm happy to hear that. Ooh, and I also get to muck with their scry. So I'm in North Carolina in America. It's Thanksgiving here. Well, not quite, but almost Thanksgiving. So I have the day off for a holiday. Oh yeah, I guess I don't mess with Scry, right? Like I prevented them from doing the search. JK. My opponent's good cards are still safely on top of their library. Hmm. I guess I don't block. The lava dart that's sitting in the graveyard makes this weird, and if they just also have some other spell they can cast from the hand, things are weird in different ways. Card's great. I could draw my card first. I don't really want to be tapping this for mana at any point in this game. I also have Field... Oh, hold on. Do I have a good Field of Ruin baseline? Play Field of Ruin. Tap 1, 2 in this. Get white, white. Yeah, I have a good Field of Ruin baseline. Let's do that instead. I'm not used to mentally mapping those out yet. Oh, shit, I can't. Ah! I figured it out a little late. That was not great. Unless it was great, in which case I'm a genius. But it didn't feel great on my end. That's just a streamer brain moment. Forgive me. If my opponent doesn't have another like land, this line isn't actually all that bad. Like if they don't have another land, they like lose out on a lot of value from this stuff. And then I just like essentially take 4 in order to destroy one of their lands and make them discard a card. Well, I think my line is gonna work out okay. So my opponent's down to 1 land. I have a great blocker and incremental life gain for the rest of the game. Let's see, so Thalia would just die to the lava dart, so I probably don't want to do that. Play the apparition here. I mean, when my opponent is a 2-color deck, I value cutting them off a color pretty highly. I always yes to this. Kozilek's Return is colorless. Yeah, maybe since I have the Field of Ruin, it's fine to take Mountain. Yeah, that's why Kozilek's Return saw play in Legacy for a while. In the Sneak and Show sideboards, it's because it was something that could answer a Hate Bear as well as Mother of Runes at the same time. This is a touch annoying. That helps. Ram, you can also hover over the cards on screen. That's the Cardboard Live extension. That'll also give you another way to visualize things. They are one of my sponsors, and they are great. Whew. Yep. Not taking that block. A Stoneforge Mystic. That's good. Can I get Batter Skull? I could just get Sword of Fire and Ice and then suit up the Archon of Emeria and play a Sword and Shield game. It's actually pretty interesting. My Sunbaked Canyon makes this all a little awkward. Because if my opponent has a Lightning Bolt sort of card that gets pointed at my face, I take 7 next turn, and then I can't tap Sunbaked Canyon. I'm going to be dead to a Sunbaked Canyon anyway, though. I have to pay for Leonin Arbiter in order to play and search with this Stoneforge. Okay. Okay, I forgot about my 1 life. That's helpful. That puts me back to 8. I think my Batter Skull is going to end up being too slow in some respects. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I think a Lightning Bolt effect is going to beat me this game anyway. I'm going to go ahead and attack in with this Archon here. Yeah, and my opponent has mana up right now as well, right? Yeah, Jay, sorry. I can't set filters high enough to get rid of that. Hopefully they'll be done soon. Okay. That's good. That means I don't have to tap this Sunbaked Canyon. Do I just turtle up? I can just equip this sword to the... Alright, so I guess one way or another, this turn cycle involves trying to put this sword on this Archon. I can't be mad at this person, they're just doing their job, but it is highly inconvenient for me. Alright, Magic Online, what the fuck? My clock is counting down. Alright. A braid is very unfortunate for me. So now any spell from my opponent has me dead in the air. Okay. Specifically because of the lava dart in the graveyard. Yeah, I don't have any... shouldn't that have been done on their turn? To just, like, I'm deterministically dead if they opt on their turn instead of my turn. 3, 4, 5 from Lava Dart. After I activated the sword, they cast a Braid and blew up my Archon. Yeah, so my opponent missed deterministic lethal. Doesn't matter, drew Kozilek's return. And just to show chat, as we discussed earlier, Kozilek's return does kill that creature. And now I have no outs. I just want to see if they remember Lava Dart. Okay, I guess they don't need to remember Lava Dart. Yeah, so Kozilek's return has the keyword devoid, meaning even though it has a red symbol in its cost, it's actually colorless. That was game 2, so we get another chance. On the play, I can consider wins. Might want wins on the play. Yeah, on the Streamlabs end, I didn't drop frames or anything, so like that one was entirely on Twitch's end, whatever it was. I think I'm gonna go ahead and submit as is. Like having flyers to break board stalls is still nice. Keep. Yeah, very, very similar quality hand to the last one. Like, I'm very happy with how this looks. That's that's insane. Um, do I play Thalia this turn? No, I think I'll go with the cat again. Yes, the dot on cards means that it has a red color identity. You'll sometimes see that on things like I think the promo Dryad Arbor art has that. I'm a little scared about something going wrong. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to put in my Brent and Forge Tender. I was already kind of thinking that I should have just done it on my turn anyway. Yeah, it's a way of symbolizing color identity on cards where the color identity might be drawn into question for some reason. Font has top with that. The big. Sorry. God. Oh, something in my throat there. It was some awesomeness. Just pure, undiluted awesomeness. Get rid of the steam vents. A, it's a mountain. B, they have to hurt themselves if they want to attack with this. We're not swinging in with the Forge Tender to assert dominance. Unless we are. No, no. I think I win this game if this game goes long. I have more 2-drops than 3-drops in this deck in my current boarding configuration, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And we're just going to go ahead and play patiently here. We'll start taking some attacks next turn, but it's just not super profitable to, like, just play into my opponent's open mana. Lava Dart, target the Thalia. Fuck! Yes, this was the exact line I was playing towards. You have to take the shots to make the shots. And we took a big one there. Lava Dart targeting the Thalia, huh? No, I would... I would rather like to keep that Thalia. But this pro-red blocker is very good. Like, the pro-red blocker plus Giver of Runes means that I can just drag this game on and on and on and on. I don't know that I'm actually supposed to save this. Yeah, I in fact am not going to save this. Oh, geez, Kozilek's return is very, very brutal here. My opponent's creatures live through it, and mine don't. Oh shit, I could have given protection from colorless. That was a misplay. Bad misplay at that. Get bailed out by the top of the deck, though. My opponent can't double Lava Dart. They don't have 2 mountains. Yes, I have played with very little Giver of Runes. I do not like that card as a whole. Oh no, I own up to my mistakes. Like, my mistake cost me about 3 life. Probably closer to 6 life over the course of this game. I don't block because Lava Dart is a thing. Actually, I don't like the line that I took, now that I think about it. That gives them a second mountain so that they can Lava Dart twice. They shouldn't have taken that line. I think opponent probably should have drawn. All right. I messed up with my Brenton Forge Tender play by not saving that. But if they had the Abrade for Batter Skull, I don't think I win this game. GG's. Lovable Dingo, thank you very much for following. Yeah, I made some mistakes there. I think my opponent also made some mistakes there. This deck doesn't feel very explicitly powerful. Like, based on my experiences with Legacy D&T, I'm expecting to get just like further and further and further ahead as the game goes on. But I'm still fighting for these games like so much as the game goes long. I lost to blue-white control. I also like can't complain about draws. Like my draws in that game were very good. Like I definitely expected to win the games that I was playing based on the hands that I got in match 2. Oh, are we playing against some sort of like oops all spells deck? I hope not. Added Marble, thank you very much for following. So, our opponent is just going to mill their whole graveyard into our library at some point, right? So Arbiter isn't really going to do anything. If I just Ghost Quarter this turn, like, that just blows up one of these without giving them another land back. That seems correct. Is the mill cards are reveal cards from the top of your library. Yeah. All right. They already have the Talisman, which means they can produce black. They don't need double black. I don't think they have blue spells, but I don't know how this deck is constructed exactly. I think I'm just going to lose game 1 to this deck. Getting to exile the Talisman would be cool. I don't think they're going to start searching. I think they're just going to, like, play a card and I die. Yep. Cool. Alright, let's figure out how their deck works. Well, I guess I can let them do this while I figure it out. Oh, interesting. They have Nexus of Fate, so they can get another turn. So they have three sort of the Meeks. Is there a Salvage Titan in the graveyard? Salvage Titan. So they can sack those, return Salvage Titan to hand. Okay, where is the thing that is giving them haste? Like how am I dead this turn? Ah, okay. There's two Vengevines, which is exactly okay, I see. So this is a deck built to exactly deal the amount of damage necessary. Oh, am I just missing a bunch of these? Yes, I was just missing a bunch of them. Okay. Hey, Julian. This doesn't seem very legal. Alright. So, Graveyard Hate's good. So Cage and Rip are going to be great. Auriok Champion is fine. Relic Warder might be playable. They side in Charbelcher. Alright, I'll bring in Revokers then. Like, this is not going to be really an equipment matchup. My Arbiters are not going to do anything. My Path do anything? My Path only does something if they play out a Balustrade Spy but don't have the ability to activate it. It's very niche. Sorry, did I might have mixed up Undercity Informer and Balustrade Spy there. Yeah, Giver is a 1/1 attacker here. A 1/2 attacker. Alright. They can go a Charbelcher route and avoid the graveyard. They win. Like, historically, Death and Taxes is not good against these sorts of decks. The game when I'm on the draw is going to be very difficult as well. Well, Blueberry Puppers, if they do their thing and go off, I probably don't beat them, right? I don't win that fair fight the vast majority of the time. Like, if they have gotten to 6 mana to hard cast Grave, or not Grave Titan, Salvage Titan, and I can't beat it, something else has probably gone terribly wrong in the game, right? Like I should be able to use protection or flying or equipment or something to beat it if the game has dragged on that long. So I think just having a dead card is too scary most of the time. I would like them to play like an Artifact Rocker or something that I can just Skyclave Apparition and keep up the tempo. Right, but I don't think they can go off. Sorry, I don't think they can just cheat that into play without really going off. I'm about to lose my cage in all likelihood. And then I might just die. No? No natures. Well, okay, I guess I can wait if it's a nature's claim. No abrupt decay or something like that. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I am supposed to be playing around, but my opponent paid for that to come in on tap. Yeah, nature's claim. Like, if they combo off, that 4 life doesn't matter the vast majority of the time, I don't think. Alright. I am dead. Fun. They had 1 Creeping Chill in hand. Salvage Titans in the yard. Alright. Let's scoop this up and not make my opponent do all the clicks. Like, my opponent gets a whole bunch of power, and even if I'm not deterministically dead this turn, they get another turn of attacks, and I can't beat through that with a 2-1 that probably dies this turn and a 1-2. Yeah, I think the reports of this deck's power level in Modern have been greatly exaggerated by the people I've been talking to. I'm not a Modern format expert. Like that's very clear. That's not where the focus of my content is. But this does not feel significantly better than any other time that I've played Death and Taxes in Modern. I saw their username's Spider something. I saw a really interesting red-white Modern Taxes list this morning. Spider, can I get that for Spider Space MTG? I saw this absolutely crazy deck list this morning. That was like modern Yorion taxes with Winota and Embercleave and Godo. That was interesting. So there's other approaches that you can take this sort of deck right now. Yeah, Merge, the day has not gone well. I got paired against blue-white control, which seemed like a bad matchup. I got paired against blue-red sort of Delvery deck, blue-red prowess deck, and kind of narrowly lost that one. I just about stabilized, but an Abrade ate a Batter Skull, and that's how it is sometimes. And we got absolutely rolled by Oops. Yeah, that was one of those things when I saw it, the Winota, where it's like, is that a meme or is that good? Because Winota has been very good in some of the smaller formats. Not quite there in Legacy. I tried. It was clunky and awkward. Um, but I think that card got banned from like Standard or something. So like it's powerful. Yeah, I'm not overly familiar with Spider Space's work. I've come across him a handful of times, just like because we run in the same generic sorts of circles. But I don't sit down to watch modern content basically ever. This is an unexciting but fine hand. Good luck. You too. Ah, yes, thank you. It was historic. It got banned in historic. The card pool was relatively small there. And then in standard, the deck was a problem, but they didn't ban the enabler. They banned the things you were putting into play otherwise. Okay. Thank you for that. Oh, we're 0-3 up. It is not a strong start to the day. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Batter Skull here over the Sword of Fire and Ice. If this is going to be blue-white control again, I theoretically want the Sword of Fire and Ice. But I have protection for my Stoneforge, which is something that like you don't always have. And I also have the ability to reset the Batter Skull if I can sneak it into play, and that gives me some Wrath protection. Unsure. I have a donation lined up for. Okay, we're playing against some pseudo-mirror. I have a donation lined up for a Legacy Mill deck featuring Karark later today. I have to see if I can get the cards, though. I'm borrowing some of the new cards from someone. This is awkward. I probably need to Path to Exile their Stoneforge Mystic, ramping them. So they can't put in their own Batter Skull. Then I put in my Batter Skull. I would just much rather have this sit rotting in their hand for a couple of turns, and I would much rather have them tap out for that, and then I can potentially blink their Germ token or something. I could have done this in their upkeep. I don't know whether or not I need to play around like Mana Leak or equivalent, but I assume that I do. Yeah, and I couldn't have done it in their upkeep because, like, Stoneforge Mystic activation. Never mind, that was me just talking. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I want to hold back this Stoneforge because I can play a Stoneforge and then put in a sword. Yeah. See if I get mana leaked. Alright, I miss a point of damage. We're not attacking with the Stoneforge. I don't think it was correct to do this pre-combat. Supreme Verdict is pretty darn good for our opponent. Yeah, my opponent might be targeting something very specific with the Spreading Seas. Like, they keep losing to Tron, and so this is in their main deck. Sure. Yes, you can have pro white. Actually, maybe blue. Maybe you get pro blue because that stops Jace bounce at sorcery speed. This this makes a much more sense to me now. Here? I think here. Diversify my threats a little bit. Okay. Do I have any reason to Ghost Quarter now? I don't think I need to Ghost Quarter now. I have a path for that. I think I'm going to go ahead and turn my Ghost Quarter into a Giver of Runes. I'd probably say this path for the back. I have Wisp. Let's play conservatively. My opponent has 6 cards, and my gut tells me that, like, in addition to the 4 things that I know about, it's probably things like counterspells. Shark Typhoon occasionally sees play in Legacy. It's sometimes a finisher for blue control decks. It's by no means a staple, but you're not overly surprised when someone plays it. It's like, oh, that's how you're choosing to finish the game. I don't expect to see it much moving forward because the courts just got printed in Commander Legends, which really change the, how do I say this? The existence of the courts makes it so that it's pretty likely that the control decks are going to look a little different moving forward. Oh, Jesus, Path to Exile is going to blow my opponent the fuck out. They have a mana leak here. It's so good. They did not. Great. I think we're a little better suited to fighting against this budget version of the deck than we were against the version that we played against in round 1. Joey, thank you very much for following. I very much appreciate it. Okay, what am I doing here? Theoretically, these are fine. Theoretically, these are fine. Theoretically, these are fine. Be thinking about these 6 cards. In the Legacy version of this matchup, I usually board out my Swords to Plowshares because you're fighting on a very different axis, but I don't know that I can actually do that in the modern equivalent. Maybe I will. Like, if my opponent is only going to be playing Sharks and then Stoneforge Mystic itself, maybe I just try to answer the equipment. I don't know, stopping that Battle Skull from getting into play seems pretty important. Maybe I can't cut all of them. Maybe I can trim. Yeah, fuck it. Just food for thought. Our opponent might not be a dude. I try to use they whenever I can on this channel. Like, I don't make assumptions about who my opponent is. Keep. Uh, I think I'm supposed to junk the Revoker there. Getting the Arbiters into play early is good. I played chess long ago. In like middle school, I really enjoyed the game. I never played at a competitive level of any kind, though. I am the sort of chess player who will beat the other person who casually says, "Hey, do you want to play a game of chess?" But I will, probably lose to the person most of the time who has been playing at their chess club and who knows about like openings and sequencing and whatnot. I have a good mind for the game, but I haven't put in the work, so I am nothing special. Man, fuck this card. That's so sad. At least I drew the planes, so I'm not just like 100% screwed. Yeah, yeah, but almost useless and useless are two very different things. Luckily, like with double Arbiter, them putting in a Stoneforge Mystic isn't that big of a deal. My opponent has like fetches and such. Things are good for me. Alright, am I attacking into a Snapcaster Mage? Yes. Does my opponent have Snapcaster Mage? Not if it's based on this list that someone has just shipped me. Alright, let's battle. This list have Supreme Verdict. Two Supreme Verdicts in the one Supreme Verdict in the board. Yeah, that's not bad then. My opponent has another natural land, though, and they have Stoneforge, then things start to look a little spookier. So much for my cats. Now I'm potentially just locked out of this game. My opponent, cryptic commands, taps down all my creatures. Need to blow up this Mystic Sanctuary. Or I could not do that. In order to kill... if I actually have the Stoneforge Mystic here, this attack sucks. But I think I'm just going to be dead. Oh wow, they didn't take my Giver runes off the board. Okay. I need to figure out a way to deal with this cryptic command lock. Like, drawing a land answers it. Please? Please give me a land? Okay. I really wanted a white land. I guess I'm just playing them all, the Skyclaves, and turtling up against the deck that has better inevitability than I do. Hey, Yannick, thank you very much for following. I hope you're enjoying the content, even though I'm getting bullied a little bit here. My cats, they do nothing. Yeah. Rakanatis, you're just in time to watch me get obliterated. Welcome. So my opponent takes out my Giver this turn. Yep. Kill the Planeswalker, attack for 2, remove the sword. At any time, I'm so soft to a Wrath. Path to Exile is also a disaster. Actually, most things are just bad. Like, I know they have a Cryptic Command in hand, and that opens up a lot of avenues. Even if they just have, like, another untapped land, Cryptic Command, bounce my Skyclave Apparition, equip, attack in, draw a card, kill one of these is still quite bad for me. Oh, great. Alright, I played Skyclave, not Relic Order. So I need to go to combat. I need them to like try to tap down all my stuff and bounce Mystic Sanctuary. Then I can use my turn to destroy Mystic Sanctuary. So they want me to cast something it so they can counter and return this. I guess I just don't do that. Alright, I'm holding up Field of Ruin. Ah, the Weed Whacker has returned, I see. Okay, so now they've just opted for return Skyclave to get a 3/3. Do they have a second Cryptic that makes me blowing up Mystic Sanctuary, not blowing up Mystic Sanctuary, look foolish? If I blow up Mystic Sanctuary, it stops a Cryptic Command block. If I blow up Prairie Stream, it stops a Path to Exile from dealing with this Relic Order a turn down the line. I don't think I'm going to beat another Cryptic anyway. Like, I think a Cryptic countering my next play already is devastating. So I'm going to take them off of white instead. Yeah, so they're at 4 life, but if they hold back on defense, I am not pushing any damage. I would rather take my opponent off of like Teferi, Big Teferi, Path to Exile, the stupid ice card. That, yeah, on thin ice, that's what it's called. Yeah, it's unintuitive on MTGO. Yeah, so this is kind of what I was talking about, right? So like even if my opponent isn't locking me out, if my opponent has a cryptic command here, I am probably just going to be dead to that. I get to cast one card this turn. And if my one card is countered, basically no matter what it is, I'm in awful shape. I'm dead in 2 turns to their attacks, which means I really need to become the aggressor, and the only way for me to become the aggressor here is this. But if my opponent just has second cryptic and they like counter this, draw a card, or counter that, tap my team or something, it's a disaster. Yep. Okay, we're dead. I'm not going to have any outs to that cryptic lock now. That's frustrating. Alright, I'm going to use the bathroom during my sideboard time. Be right back. Alright, let's get back into it. Yep. That Archmage's charm at the beginning of the game secretly was just like so incredible. Took a lot of pressure off my opponent, even if they never put in a creature. Just me not having that was so good. I just have so many more lines available to me with like my lands if I'm able to do just a tiny bit more. Well, if I draw a search effect, this is very good. Like a oh man, am I gonna get spell snared, or is this just a fetch for convenience or an opt or something? Okay, fetch for convenience. Is artifact hate still as common as it used to be? I thought some of the like good artifact stuff got itself banned. Ooh, buddy. Next turn looks so good. We're not gonna cast anything on my turn. We're gonna try to flash in this Haven Mind Sensor on my opponent's turn. If they tap out. Otherwise, I will just wait and put it in off my vial. We're gonna name Stoneforge here, even though that has some blowback on me. I'm about to do dirty things to my opponent. Alright. Lady Luck. The rest of this game's on you. Fuck. God damn it. uh, that's really frustrating. This is the legacy equivalent of like two of your wastelands just not working for some reason. Well, a lot of the time historically, Modern has always been play the most linear deck you can that people aren't playing, or sorry, that people aren't sideboarding for currently. Like that general strategy has been very good for a huge portion of Modern. Go to combat, see if my opponent tries to tap down the old team here. They don't. I'm going to go ahead and just attack in with all of these. This is representing lethal, so my opponent needs to generate another blocker or otherwise answer some creature. I don't want to be the first one to blink here. Got the GGs from the opponent. Alright, so at least I'm not dead. Alright, we put a win on the scoreboard with this deck. So I didn't just get swept. Yeah, I don't see why someone would want to play this deck. I love these sorts of decks. But, like, your disruption package is way worse on the draw. One of your primary hate cards interacts with your best endgame engine very poorly. These cards are and are much better leveraged when you're on the play or when you have a very specific opener. Arbiter's central to the strategy, but gets played out early, eats a removal spell, and then a lot of your other things don't do as well. I'm not impressed. I wonder if this was a situation where like D&T was very good before people like knew how to play against it, and then like it became popular again, so people figured everything out. Eh. Ten's not really good. Oh, cool. I am just going to play against Oops again and not play Magic. All right, I think we've played our Modern League for the year. We can try Death and Taxes again next year. See if it's gotten better. Yeah, so we're just dead if our opponent has anything. So I need to know that my opponent is playing Spirit Guides. They have a random Leyline of Sanctity. There's a Nexus of Fate in there. That'll go on top of their library. Sword of the Meek, Salvage Titan. Cool. Alright. Provoker for Mana Rocks. Page. Rest in Peace. Champion. And I guess we'll play Relic Order. What did I do last time? Yeah, I mean, Aspirant is obviously like a very good 2-drop. I was kind of surprised to not see it in the lists that I was looking over. Maybe board out a piece of equipment. And so many like cards that like don't have text. Like Flicker Wisps are painfully slow. Well, our Steel, the reason it's not seeing more Legacy play is because one person is shouting very angrily that the card isn't good without ever having played the card. So that's a big problem of why it's not seeing play in Legacy. It did top 8 the challenge this weekend, though. So hopefully that'll convince more people to start trying it. It is. Well, let's figure out how to sideboard. Go Arbiter's out. I boarded in a bunch of 2-drops. We have a turn 2 rest in peace, so I have to keep this hand. Yeah, that's my thought. If you're in the know, you get what's going on. If you're not in the know, doesn't matter. It might be correct to just revoke that rather than play Rest in Peace in case my opponent has an alter plan like Goblin Charbelcher. I think that's correct. Like, my opponent burned a Spirit Guide in order to put that into play in the first place. It's obviously embarrassing if I die. But it seems like this plays against alternate strategies better. Now I think I'd give them the mana and cut off the graveyard. Then I can Ghost Quarter and Vial next turn. Morning, Lasco. About the tail end of this one. I have not been impressed by this card today, but I also don't think we've maybe played the best matchups for that card. Let's not accidentally die. Let's not die out of greed. I think I leave this at 2. I think I have more impactful 2 drops than 3 drops. Exhibit A. Like, so far, the Skyclave has just kind of felt like an aura. At this point, I can't think of anything that beats me. If my opponent just, like, plays land and then Goblin Charbelcher and passes, I go Stoneforge. Oh, hold on. Is the Sword of Fire and Ice in the sideboard? Sword of Fire and Ice is in the sideboard. Okay, so I don't have Deterministic Lethal next turn. Alright, I think I keep everything the same way. And I have one relevant turn 1 play. So let's draw that in our opening hand. I mean, yes. Lasco, this deck does not feel viable. It just hasn't really felt like I've been the one who was doing the better thing in any of my rounds thus far. Which is a problem. Land? Okay, cool. Revoke Undercity Informer here. Let me just confirm that that's the right one. Yeah. I'm probably just going to lose to Nature's Claim this into Balustred Spy. Alright. Prediction on track. Cool. Show me that your relevant cards aren't in hand, and then I'm dead. The Salvage Titan is in the graveyard. Oh, there's also Phantasmagorian, which should fix some of the cards and hand problems. Not in this exact scenario. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I don't have anything good to say about this deck, which is unfortunate because I love this style of deck. But we seem bad versus control decks in game one, and it looks like we get worse versus control decks relative to how they're doing in post sideboard games. No, no, now it's the full on mower. Um, it didn't seem like we were consistent versus the aggro deck that we played against. Like the Stoneforge life gain is great, but Skyclave is awkward removal for those small threats. They don't mind trading a bolt to just get another body back. And Thalia seemed bad against like the Lava Dart type stuff, so did Flicker Wisp. And we were horrendous versus combo. So I don't know what we're supposed to be good against. It was nothing that we played against in this league, that's for sure. Uh, yeah. I love taxes, but this deck did not seem good. Like, even when we had hands that were just like optimal, where it was like planes, Ghost Quarter, like Vile, Giver, Arbiter, and some other card or something like that, like, we still lost so many of the hands that were just our like best possible starting hands. And that's probably not a good place to be. I would not run this deck back. I probably wouldn't run this deck making a bunch of changes. Like, there's other things you can try, but a lot of things that you do probably end up making the deck worse in some other new way. Like, you can't remove Arbiter from this deck. The deck is really built around it, and so much of your soft disruption, like Field of Ruin and Ghost Quarter, fall apart without that card. But then, like, you have the Arbiter Stoneforge problem. You can play Luminarch Aspirant as another, like, very good must-answer 2-drop creature, but that still doesn't fix the problem versus control or doesn't fix the problem versus combo. Does not feel like this deck is here right now. So I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a wrap for that.